Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of Medics in Tech podcast. My name is Gabriel Oke, and I have a guest in the studio today. He's a friend. We've been together for a while, and I'm so glad to always hear from him whenever we get to speak on phone. Yeah, so Nesto is our guest today. So I want you to tell us your story from undergrad because when I first met you, then I think you were leading the Health Week, if I'm not wrong. You were leading Health Week in Medical Laboratory Science Department in University of Ibadan. To this handsome young tech bro we have now. So can you give us how your story, how you've been a student, and then what was your thinking then, and how you able to arrive at this point now?
Okay, thank you very much, Gabriel, for that question. For a number of things, I believe that my journey has been really interesting. My journey has been one um that that has just reflected skills that I've picked up along the way. For example, when I was a student, I was a president. I held a number of leadership positions in school, and being a student leader means that you have to cater for your students' needs. When they are in need, when it's faculty week, when it's this, when it's that, when somebody cannot afford his fees, you have to come through. You have to be there for the person, ensuring that things go smoothly. So I like to think that that was the earliest introduction into the life of project management. Because as a project manager, one of the skills that you want to learn is being able to like organize. It's a very important skill. Organization, even communication. And so I believe that from that phase was where I began to learn some of the integral skills that I work with today. And furthermore, then going through post school internship phase, going through all of that, I began to also like hold other positions in like other jobs. Or sometimes I was in the marketing team working as a junior guy, sometimes a senior guy, sometimes a middle guy. And so I was able to properly learn how to work better as a team member in any place I find myself, either as a leader or as a follower, in just any part of the entire sphere. And so that basically was part of how I started to like pick up some of these transferable skills that I'm starting to use today. Some of these skills like analytical skills where I'm able to like look up problems and say, okay, how best can we solve this? How can we innovate on this product that we have? What is the most intuitive way to go about these kind of things? So how can we properly manage our time? So the things that I began to skills that I began to learn, to use, to grow in, and they are skills that have also helped me in my career. So how did I end up as a project manager? I've always believed that a lot of endeavors as healthcare professionals, with a background in healthcare, I've always believed that a lot of things that we need to do it's not going from plan to fruition because there's nobody who's sitting down in one corner and saying, okay, A tick, point B done, point C done, point D done. We just typically go around in circles. We've done this, repeat this, we do the research, we do it again, we do it again. So there's little or no progress regarding what we do in the health sector. And so from that angle, I was able to like say, okay, fine. If I become a project manager who's able to sit down and say, okay, this is where we are now, this is our end goal now, and I'm able to like break down what we need to do per time into bits and pieces. So I'm able to like thoroughly follow through a lot of these things. I'll be able to like get the outcome that that's the entire logic behind being a project manager, being able to like sit down properly analyze. Although currently I work in the fintech space, I don't really work currently much in the health space. But obviously, the skills are the same whether whether in the fintech, whether in health tech, whether in food tech, whether in any tech really. So those are skills that I began to learn over time, and there are things that still work for me today. So how did I get here today? It's not been a linear road. It's been full of curves and turns and ups and downs. But we just keep reinventing ourselves, learning more and becoming better versions of ourselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nesto. So you currently work in the fintech space, but your undergrad was in biomedical science. Then you moved
Yes.
to Then you did your internship, medical science, medical laboratory science as well.
Yes,
Your NYC
yes.
as well, right? Your
Medical
NYC
lab
as well.
science as
Medical laboratory science as well. So yeah, that's awesome. So now let's look at it from a undergraduate student perspective. Let's say a
well. Okay.
undergraduate student is listening to you now, or a young professional at that internship or NYC level. What would be your advice? What would be your advice to anyone trying to navigate and say, okay, let me pick up a tech skill. I want to work in the tech field, or I want to be a founder of a probably a health tech product or even a community, as a case may be. So, what would be your recommendation at that stage where they are still trying to find their place?
Okay.
Over.
So I just while you were talking, I was trying to like write a number of things that came to mind. And the first thing I need to do is that number one is that you need to properly research what you want to do. So, sometimes you see things, you see people, you say, oh, Wale Soyinka, he's so good, he speaks so nicely. Oh, Chimamanda, oh, she speaks so nicely. But you don't realize that a lot of people have done a lot of the back work that they've done to become where they are today. So the first thing you want to do, regardless of whatever field that you want to do, is you want to like research into the field. You want to know what they actually do. Oh, the name is catchy. Oh, I'm a full stack guy. Oh, I'm a back end guy. Oh, I'm a DevOps. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm a product manager. The first thing you want to do is that you want to properly research into the skills that they are doing, into the work that they are currently doing. That proper research, it helps you, gives you an insight into what is to come. That's the first thing you want to do. And second thing would be you want to learn. And that's one thing that a lot of us are missing out on, particularly in the medical space, because a lot of medics are intelligent people, obviously. And so there's always that blocker when, oh, in my class I was top 1%.
Right.
I then want to now go to a totally new field where I'm a newbie, where I'm a rookie, where I know nothing, where somebody my age or even junior can correct me and say, no, 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 don't do that, no, 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 no. So there's many times it's like a blocker regarding learning new things for a lot of people. And so it's a blocker that you want to take away from that. You want to tell yourself that, okay, for this thing, I am willing to learn. I want to learn. I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care who my line manager is. My line manager could be 17 years old, could be 18 years old, could even be 50 years old. I don't mind. All I want to do is to learn. Having that teachable spirit to be able to learn and forge through is actually really important. Number three would be speak to other people who have gone ahead in the field. Um, so when I started out in marketing, or at least after doing marketing for about 3 years, people would come and meet me and say, how far, Ernesto, what's up? How did you get here today? How did you get here today? And what advice would you give? And I'd always tell them that, okay, do this, do this. Marketing guy, first thing you need to do is that you need to find somewhere to actually do something. Get an internship somewhere, do something, do that, do that, do that. So I think for me, it's important that people actually speak to older mentors, people that they know are doing what they are doing, or people who are doing similar things that can guide you. There's no gainsaying in saying that you're not an island on your own. You want to speak to people who are actually knowledgeable, people who are actually doing it. It gives you like a feel of what the field looks like. It gives you a feel of what you would be expected to be doing. And I think finally would be to do. Now, when I say to do, I mean it's not enough to learn. It's not enough to read. It's not enough to speak to people. It's very important that you actually do. Now, for a lot of jobs, for a lot of positions, they'll tell you that, oh, this internship, oh, it's paying me 50,000 naira, it's paying me 50K. Oh, this one does not really pay me good money, it's just paying me 60K, jare. I'm not interested. And for an early career guy, obviously, and that's another blocker with a lot of us medics. For a lot of us medics, done your internship, you started earning about 150K, 200K, 250K, and someone else tells you that, oh, for this role, oh, you'll be earning is about 7,000 naira. You're like, this time last year I was earning triple of that money. Why am I earning 7,000 naira now? So in positions like that, your priority is not to earn. Your priority is to learn. So you want, like I always say, there's a time to learn and time to earn. So that is not the time for you to earn. It's typically time for you to learn. Although you can earn while you learn, it's important for you to learn. So it's priority that you actually do. You get an internship somewhere. You're an entry level person. It doesn't have to be paid. It could be paid. It may not always be paid, but it's important that you're not just that thing by name. You're actually doing it. So in doing it, you'll be able to like get better on it. You get better skills. You become sharper on the job. Yes, that would be it for me. Thank you.
I think I agree with you on the point of probably that salary thing of I'm earning 150 last year. This
Yeah.
year I'll be earning maybe 50,000 for an internship. So okay, I've done internship, I've done NYC. Will I now go and start as an
Start
intern again? So I think
earning 50,000 naira. Yes.
30K, 40K, yeah. So and then you now look at people that are on the job. They are maybe people that not even do anything medical, and I be like,
Yes.
the kind of respect you were already giving yourself, you were like, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm starting from
Yeah.
scratch again, and it's understandable because in medicine you have to do internship before you start,
Yeah.
the career. Right? So you should
Oh, yeah.
understand that before you enter a
There's
new field
already a path
or learn a
ahead
new
of
skill.
you.
You understand? You understand? So now let's look at it from this
Yes.
angle. So what would you do differently? What would you do differently if you were to start again with everything you've learned now over the last 3 years, I believe? What would you do differently if you were to start again? If you have a clean slate to start again?
Okay. What would I do differently? I would do a number of things differently, to be honest. I think number one thing would be I would start earlier. Because I think one mistake that a lot of people do is that they tell you that, oh, let me wait till I'm done with school. Let me graduate first, then I can now sit down and think about my life. No, I think it's a mistake that a lot of people do. Waiting till everything is perfect before you actually now start doing what you want to do. So the first thing I would tell people is that please don't wait till it's all perfect. Start where you are. Use what you want to do. Use what you have. If you want to become a photographer and you don't have a camera yet, at least you have a phone. Use the phone. If you want to become a videographer, you don't have a laptop yet, download VN or CapCut. So it's always an interesting thing. So for me, I would myself, to start earlier. One, two is that I would tell myself that there are truly no limitations. So for me now, one of the things that so this is a little more personal though. So do you know how, like, in the tech space, a lot of the technical roles, a lot of the coding quote and unquote roles earn more compared to the non-technical roles.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
a full stack person is probably earning about $5,000, while the manager is earning probably like 1,000. So but the point is that, like, I would tell myself, that, hey Ernesto, there's no limit to what you can do. Don't be scared of the codes. If you want to write codes, you can write codes. If you don't want to write codes, anything you want to do, you can do. Maybe it's cybersecurity, you can actually do it. So I think for me that would like be really, really important. Telling myself that there's nothing I can't do, so I'll just be able to do anything I want to do, really. So I think those two things are like really, really key for me to what I might do differently. Yes. Yeah, I guess so.
I think if I will coin a sentence from your answer now, I would say the courage to start early.
Yes, yes,
The
yes. I think
courage
strategy,
to start
yes.
early. Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Being, when a lot of us look at prevailing realities and tell yourself that, oh, this is what it is. Oh, I can't do this right now. Oh, I can't do that right now. You just need the courage to say, I can actually do it.
Yeah,
I will grind it out,
I agree.
and then you learn. So those are things that just really make it all worthwhile.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So to the last question now, so that I can release you. So I just want you to give me what your role is like, so that at least we know how what you're doing, what does it entail, and
Okay.
how did you get the job, and how did you get most of the tech jobs that you've gotten so far. Just what you're doing, what your job
Okay.
entails, and how you
All
got
right. So let me
most
just
of the
let me
jobs.
just let me just note it down so that I don't overshoot what I do and how. Okay. So First, I'm a project manager. I'm a project manager. Basically, as project manager, it means that I am the person who sits and plans projects, who sits and plans our strategies. How best do we want to achieve A, B, C, D, E, or is this achievable within a particular time frame? And that's basically what I do. Summary. So how I do what I do, it entails a lot of things. Number one has to do with like planning and organization. I sit down and I say, okay, I want to achieve this. How can we do it? Right? I answer the question of how a lot of times. Then when I answer the question of how, I then answer the question of what. What do I need? What stakeholders do I need? Who do I need to speak to? What submissions do I need to do? What meetings do I need to have? And then who do I need to then the who question of who stakeholders, who. So when I'm able to do that, then next thing I try to do is that I have to properly communicate. It's also an interesting part of my work. Being able to like communicate among stakeholders effectively. And it's quite interesting that you deal with a lot of people. You deal with people who tell you that, oh, hi Ernesto, or more, I'm a developer. I only work at night. During the day, I sleep and I play game. So even you as a manager, you're like, okay, you know what? Don't worry. By 11 p.m., I will text you, and then things like that. You have to pander to this side, pander to this side. But being able to like properly communicate with your team is really important. And I think next thing will be risk management. I'm able to say, okay, fine, we're investing 5 million naira into this project. It must not go to ground. Even if it goes to ground, I want to be able to like recoup 3 million out of the project such that everything does not totally burn. So that's what management is. That's what it is for me. And I think next thing will be problem solving. I'm able to my job entails me being able to sit down and say, okay, fine, this and this and this is the problem. I have this blocker, I have that blocker. How do I tackle it? And I tell myself that, okay, fine, this is what I need to do to tackle it. If I do A, I'll get B. If I get B, I'll get C. So problem solving is a critical part of my job, aside stakeholder management, and I think finally would be adaptability. Because the honest truth is, as a practicing professional here in Nigeria, things change fast, costs change fast. The things you wanted to buy today for 5 naira, tomorrow is 10 naira. The dollar is rising and falling like the waves, and so you want to be able to be adaptable enough for your current realities. So I think for me that's like just really important, being adaptable enough to be able to do what I need to do when I need to do it and how I need to do it. So those are like things that I need. Then along the line also, I think finally would just be, what do I need to do my work? Aside all of that, you just need your workspace, your work tools, and along the line you just pick up certifications left and right, to just climb up. Yeah, so basically with all of that, I think you're good.
Okay, so how did you get most of your roles?
All right, so finally, how did I get most of my roles? A lot of my roles were gotten from first word of mouth. A lot of people that you tell that, oh, hello, my name is Ernesto, I do this and I do that. So number one thing is that um being able to like speak to people, where